Wow, it's been like 3 years since we did this, I think. So,
Yeah, whatever.
So much has changed. I'm engaged. You lost weight.
Cause this is my United States or whatever. And this is my United States or whatever.
wow.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Does that bring back memories?
Yeah, it actually does. Good memories.
It
though.
does.
Good times.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
so yeah, it's been 3 years since we did one of these, and that's a long
Yes.
time by my guesstimation. That's a long
Yeah.
time. I'm not sure.
Because your name is Don Allen,
And and
and I'm
yours
Justin.
is not. That's all I
Yeah.
remember. What is your name?
There is only Justin.
Oh,
There's
right.
only one Don Allen, and there's only one Justin.
Actually, there's more than one Don Allen. If you look, my name on Twitter for everyone out there used to be the Don Allen. I was the Don Allen, and then I kind of relinquished that, and I went to it's Don Allen because I'm no longer like a. Okay, I'm just as egotistical as before, but there was a
That's
reason
some things.
I
Some things stay the same. Some things
gave up.
change.
But then, as soon as I gave up that username, if you type in the Don Allen, it was taken like a day later by some like Australian musician named Don Allen, and now his is the Don Allen, and mine is it's
So,
Don Allen. So it's
so you lost out to Australian death metal?
not really. I didn't lose out. Like I just
Oh,
gave up the name because I didn't want to be the Don Allen anymore. Because you remember it was
yeah.
capitalized THE. Like it made me
Yes.
look like an asshole. And the thing
Yeah.
was, I don't want to look like an asshole, so I just changed it to
No.
hey, it's Don Allen. Like I was thinking like Pat. You remember like the old SNL sketch?
Yeah,
Sketch
it's
like.
fat.
Is it a he or she? It's
Yeah.
Pat. Like, hey, it's Don Allen. Is it a he or she? That kind of thing. So that's kind of what I was going for. Is like the innocent kind of like '60s, uh,
Yeah. Oh, I feel
sitcom
you.
theme. Yeah, that's what I was going. But then it just kind of got scooped up by the other guy he didn't capitalize it. He's just like, hey, I'm the Don Allen. What's going on,
Yeah.
guys? Like, I'm just a
He's not as
nice
cool as
everyday
you.
guy. No, nobody is. But that's the thing is he took it, and now if you follow him, that is not me. That's the whole point of the rant I
Gotcha.
just
Well,
went
they,
on.
they could always follow Donald Allen because that's apparently another guy. But I don't. You know, let's just drop this. Okay, so so we might want to give a little recap of previously on whatever with Don and Allen. Um,
What was
you know,
previously on whatever with Don
you
and
know,
Allen?
I don't know. I guess the point is we should let them know that hey,
Don
you're
and
Don.
Allen, by the way.
What's that?
You said whatever with Don and Allen. Like, no,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's Don and Justin.
Well, what is whatever about? Is it pretty self-explanatory, right? For those that don't know.
Yeah, I'd say it's about whatever. Literally, it's about
Yeah.
anything that we want to talk about. That's the best part about the whole ordeal.
Yeah.
Is we got tired. We're like, is it about gaming? Is it about
Yeah.
movies? Is it about
Movies.
music? Is it about? We're like,
Is it?
it's about whatever. Literally anything we want to talk about. So
Yeah. Anything.
we don't have to like adhere to any kind of script or any kind of format. We can just do whatever we want, literally. So that's the whole
Yeah.
gist behind the podcast. The other thing was, I mean, we literally did we covered everything we could imagine
Yeah, my
back in
my
the day.
favorite was the that really crazy movie about the
Yeah, yeah.
terrorizing penis.
That's the bad biology. Yeah,
Bad biology.
that
That's
is
it.
that is like a classic outtake, in my opinion. Anyway, I think it cracks me up listening to it. Just how
Yeah.
bad we were laughing at it. And then like I've let several people listen to that, in the years since, and they laugh every time too, which is great. So that's kind of the point.
I'll have to re-listen to it.
Yeah, it's great. That's kind of the point though, is like we want to aim for those kind of moments, where like we
Of
have
course.
outtakes and we can just have a
It's
best
raw.
of.
It's unscripted.
Yeah, we can have a best of collection eventually, and then milk our listener base for even more money.
Yeah, our
than-
franchise, and except that I think we'll have to get at that point. We'll have to get somebody to do the intro song, like
Yeah.
freestyle.
Right, and it'll have to be like we'll probably have to pay royalties for the
Yeah,
actual
yeah, that's
theme
true.
song, stuff like
What
that.
what if I hummed it? It was like da 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 da, da, and you're like, yeah, there's good, whatever, da 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 da
Oh,
da,
yeah.
da.
Well, I don't think you can copyright da 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 like that. So, but you probably can. They find ways to copyright everything. So yeah, last time that we left off, we were kind of joking and saying like, "Oh, well, this is the end of the year. It's the last whatever of all time. And then I think the next week you found out like you had an opportunity to go overseas and take
Yeah,
like a kick-ass job, and
it was.
everybody was like, yeah, go for it. And then you
You
went,
were the
and
seer of the future, or
pretty
we
much
were, but
it was the last episode of all
yes, it
time
was.
until almost 2014, which is crazy to think about. But um, in the time since, a lot's changed between Justin and my lives. Let's see. You go first, Justin. You've had a lot happen in your life.
A foothold.
You what?
I said Destiny has a foothold,
It does.
and I
So,
think things changed a little bit, but I'm hoping it's okay. Hope
right?
you still reading me?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Okay, good. I think just the connection dropped a bit, but
It
we're
did.
good. We're
It's
good.
cool. It's the internet, and it's
Yeah,
that's how Wi-Fi goes.
I know. How
Wired
go crazy? Whoa, Wi-Fi, yo.
wired connections are all much better. But
So, so you know,
continue.
you actually, like I said, since we last had an episode, you lost a bunch of weight. You've gone to school, and you're getting close to finishing that up. I mean, that's exciting,
Yeah,
and very, very awesome.
right.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you very much.
I totally, actually, I probably should have asked you what you've been up to. I just kind of stole that from you.
No, that's
I'm sorry.
fine.
I guess maybe you should tell people what I've been up to, since that's only fair.
From what I've gathered anyway, from reading your Twitter account and following you somewhat on YouTube and Facebook, you're engaged
Yes.
and you have a kid on the way, which is crazy
Yes.
to think about. Is it a boy or
Yes, it
girl?
is.
Did you find out?
It's a girl.
It's a girl. Wow. So you're gonna have a
Yes.
little Justina coming around.
And a little princess, Polly princess.
Yep. And but congratulations, man. Good for you. That's great. That's
Yeah,
great.
thank you. Yeah,
And
and
you're still
we're
doing
planning.
the YouTube stuff as strong as ever, basically. Like if you're actually pumping out more content now than you were before you left to go overseas
Yeah,
the last
I
time we
got
talked.
back. I got back, and I hit it hard, and I've been doing it since I got back. And
Yeah.
I've just really putting my all into it, even though it might not mean anything at this point. But who cares, right? It's for fun.
Yeah, that's the whole point. That was one of the things we wanted to kind of spin off tonight's first interim episode, I guess you call it, inaugural episode, and talk
Yes.
about the YouTube thing going on. I'm
Yeah, because
admittedly like I've never made any money off of YouTube. It's always been kind of like a fun, for fun thing for me only.
yeah,
And the idea, like the idea of monetizing videos to me based on video games and making money off of that is kind of mind blowing to me. Like
whoa,
it's still kind of new. You know, it's only like
yeah,
4 or 5 years old, maybe,
yeah.
right?
Rules for it haven't really been clearly defined when it comes from a what do you call it, like law perspective. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah, there needs to be. That's one thing that we should have. Like, there needs to be a court case to set a precedent for these videos and let's
Yeah.
plays and things like that. And that hasn't
So we
been
know what
established
goes which
yet.
way.
Right. And so, like, we really have no idea what should happen or what the law says because the laws that are on the books right now are not dealing with Twitch and YouTube and things like that. They were
Yeah,
dealing
it
with
was a whole it's a whole new ball game now.
right.
So
And
you know, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say like I don't really get why publishers would be against Let's Plays because it's kind of free advertising for their games. You
Yeah.
know,
Well,
and
from what I understand, most publishers aren't. It's just there's some I hear that are, but then a lot of them are coming out like, whoa, we didn't put anything out here to do this, but they're like, we're gonna fight this for you. We don't, we're just disclaim it, they dispute it, whatever. But it's still, I mean, they turn the system on, they hit a switch, and granted, the content ID system algorithm thing has been in place. If you weren't partnered, you were getting this already. If you haven't been partnered, you get stuff pretty flagged quite often, or a dispute. But if you were partnered, you kind of got a bypass on this. That the
and
partnership would kind of take the fall and be able to vouch for you, like these guys are doing what they need to do. You could still get a strike against your account, but it was much harder. I mean, since I've been partnered, I hadn't gotten anything.
right.
But granted, I don't just upload a
And
bunch of random stuff that.
to just kind of clue people in real quick, what you're talking about is YouTube is responsible for
Yes.
this, right? Not so
Well,
what people think is people think it's game publishers going after their own videos or like remember you had
Yeah.
several videos from THQ the other day flagged and
Yes.
things like that, and THQ's not around anymore, and now
Yeah,
like
but
Nordic
the
Games
interesting
owns the
thing about
rights to
that
those and
though
things, but
is that it's what I'm noticing actually is that it's not just the content of the game.
Right.
You're getting content like if there's music in the game, oh, well, there's that guy who made that soundtrack or who
Hmm.
owns the rights to that soundtrack or that rights to that sound effect. So the thing is, it's a system, and I understand why they have it, but it's extremely fucked up right now. And um, it's just it's interesting. Like I had a video for a review on Tomb Raider, and I got dinged, and it said it was claimed by Tomb Raider. So I disputed it and was like, it's a review for fair use, and it's already taken off, and I was already able to monetize my video again.
Hmm.
So for some of these videos, it probably won't be too hard to get your stuff back,
I
honestly.
think I think
Um,
the problem that people are going to have is some people like yourself have hundreds of videos uploaded, and they're going to potentially have hundreds of videos with claims against them, and the time it's going to take to dispute every single video is going to be
yes, and
so monotonous and such a pain in the ass, basically.
yeah, and well, and the factor that's scary is that see, you can get three strikes on your account. So if you do a claim, you can, and they don't allow the dispute. They can come back, and then it kind of looks like a strike until you do like another. There's something else you can do to fight it, and then from what I've heard, that if you fight it that far, usually as long as it's not like a direct upload of something,
Right.
they'll back off. But during that time, you can't dispute, I think, other videos or something like that of that nature. There's something I was reading about, and it's just a pain in the ass. Now, granted, I have 800 videos now on my channel, 800, and I've only gotten about 6 or 7 content IDs. Now they're supposed to be rolling this stuff out more and more till January, so that could change. But ultimately, even like for example, the Tomb Raider video I had was marked by Tomb Raider. So I don't know if it was Crystal Dynamics, I don't know who, but whoever was claiming it was Tomb Raider, whether it was Tomb Raider or not, they put that content ID out there or put it into that system that they have.
Right.
Anyway, it's just weird. But what's interesting is now what the deal is if you have a partnership, it doesn't exclude you from this unless you are under their managed branch.
Right.
Now, a managed branch is, I guess, like gets more. What is the word? They get more backing. So, for example, if you're on Machinima and you're under their managed group, then you don't have to worry about this stuff. But not a lot of people are going to be under that branch. Who's going to be under that? The people that are like extremely high up there. And why? Because they're going to bring in the most revenue for Machinima.
Yeah,
You
and
know.
that's
Um,
ultimately what people need to understand too is this is all about money. Like it has nothing to
oh,
do with ownership
yeah.
rights or whether or not they give a crap if you're actually broadcasting any gaming or anything like that. It's all about money. And if they
Hmm.
see the fact that they think you're making money that they are not making and they could possibly be making instead, they're going to try to take it
Take a
from you.
pie,
Yeah,
take a
and that's
piece.
that's the whole thing. Yeah, so
And like,
I
I
was gonna
mean,
say
for me,
I think I still think people need to understand though like it's not game publishers going after their own content on YouTube necessarily.
yeah.
It's YouTube has updated their process for flagging content, and it's basically like an automated universal system that detects things automatically, and it's the thing that's the culprit, right? It's
Yeah,
YouTube.
basically.
It's Google. It's
Well,
Google's fault practically. Is
well,
what
you
I'm
know what
saying.
I noticed too is I went back to my copyright claims, and remember I told you about the dark side stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, when I went and looked back at my claims, these were claimed a long time ago. Like I looked at them, and it's showing that they're claimed like 2 years or a year ago or so, whenever the game came out. But yet I never got any kind of notification, no ding, no nothing. So what I'm thinking is for people that were partnered and kind of excluded from these what do you call it? These notifications or these dings. It's like you're almost like in a buffer, and now that that buffer's gone, that shield's gone.
Right.
Now I'm getting all the claims for them, and it's for videos. It's for back when they claimed it, months ago or whatever. I don't know. It's really weird. Um, but the thing for me that's interesting because I've been doing this since 2006, it's like I understand all sides of it in a way. I understand why companies are doing it from one end. I also understand why people are pissed off that they can't monetize their stuff in there, because they spend a lot of time, and I understand that. And then at the same time, I also think to myself, well, I don't make a living off this, which is, I guess, a good thing at this point.
Right.
But I understand it's like, some people are like, oh, well, I had some people say, oh, well, you didn't work at it enough, or I worked at this, so I deserve it. And that part of me was like, so you don't think all the work I've done deserves anything? I mean, I'll be honest, I make like $20 a month, if that,
Mm-hmm.
and that's on my channel alone. That's Yeah, it's definitely not putting food on the table. But you know, part of me, I understand the frustration of being a content creator and having things taken away from you, and I also feel the frustration of having done this for so long and really not amounted to anything. Doesn't really make me feel bad because I've done plenty of stuff in my life, as you know. But it's just I kind of see it from all perspectives. I understand why people are pissed off at it. I understand why it's affecting some people. I understand why some people just don't care.
Right.
And so for me, I don't make money off this really to be any substantial amount. So I'm going to continue doing it for fun. You do have some people, and I'm sure you are going to have people that are going to quit. People that don't fall into these managed accounts, they're going to quit, and they're going to be like, "I'm done."
Or they'll
And you know,
move. Classic Game Room is moving to
yeah,
Dailymotion, for example. So like they're going to find different avenues where they will be monetized or they will make money. That's one of the things. I don't know. Like what you're saying is like you've never made money off of it, or like made a living off it, and it's
no,
like,
never.
and it's like, to me, I've always, like I've said before we started broadcasting, like I've always entered the mindset like I do it for fun first and foremost because I just like
Yes,
games. And another thing is like when I'm doing videos, when I'm doing reviews or whatever, I feel like I'm not really, because I want to go into production, I want to go into video
yes,
and movies and things like that. So like to me, it was kind of practice. Like it was an excuse to play games, but not completely waste my time doing it.
yes.
So like
It's
I
like
would,
a melding of two hobbies.
yeah, exactly, and I could get sort of like a portfolio built out of it. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
I've been able like to put my time of Control Alt Kill and at Bloody Disgusting on a resume, for example. And like when I went in
Exactly.
for an internship at a local news station, I actually was able to leverage that as an advantage over other potential interns, so that they would choose me because I've had prior experience with Adobe Premiere and things like that. So,
Mhm.
and to me, it's kind of like I was using it as an excuse to play games but not waste my time doing it. But at the same
Yeah,
time,
I
like I
understand.
always thought, if I were ever fortunate enough to make any money on this, there's no way in hell I would actually think it was stable. Like a
Oh
stable
yeah,
income. And like people like PewDiePie who have apparently made millions of dollars doing
yes,
this. Number one, you got to realize that you've literally like struck the lottery. Okay, I mean
yes.
seriously, you were incredibly fortunate to have made that kind of money doing something that you loved. You basically got to take however many years that you did that, making a living doing that, off of doing a real job. You know what I mean? And the
Yeah.
other thing is
Hmm.
like, I don't understand why anyone would trust that would be like a straight, steady source of income enough to quit whatever job they had and do it full time, and then whenever it goes away, they're surprised. I don't
Yeah.
know how anyone could actually think that that would be a stable source of income for years to come, or however long they
Well,
seemingly expected it. You know what I mean?
Well, I know, no, I understand that completely. And another big thing that people have to be reminded is you're using a service online that does not cost you anything. It
Right.
is a free service
Hmm.
provided by the company, and they can make the rules they see fit at any point in time because guess what? You don't pay for their product. They're giving you something for free. They're hosting your videos, they're hosting all this stuff. Now, I don't get me wrong, I understand. You're putting in your time and your effort for content creation and you're putting your heart and soul into it. I understand that, but you have to realize the ball that you're playing with, and it is not always in your hands. And that's the biggest thing I think that anybody going into YouTube from now in the future or even in the past should realize is that you have control of your content in a way, but you don't have control of which way the ball's gonna roll. And right now, it's rolling in the opposite direction for a lot of people,
Yeah.
and it's upsetting. And I understand, um, but again, then there's also, I mean, this topic can go on, and I mean, then there's the thought that well, people are watching people's videos for their not the actual content they're doing per se of the game, but their personality, and that's very true.
Yeah.
And if that is the case, though, if that is the case, which I do believe it is, I don't see why these people would not be able to find a different avenue to pursue, whether it's through working for IGN for something,
Right.
working through some other online function that could pay them either in a job type of sort of payment. If they're that popular and that big, well known, I'm pretty sure other companies out there will realize that and want to capitalize on the fact that they can't make money right now. They need a
Exactly.
job.
Exactly. That's
Boom,
that's my
boom.
that's my argument too. Is if they're that well liked and they're that popular, they're that affable in order to get that kind of viewership, that doesn't go unnoticed. I mean, these people have millions of people watching them, okay? And the fact is, television networks don't get that kind of viewership nowadays, okay?
Hmm.
And the fact is, that's money left on the table for an IGN or a GameSpot or anybody that does not get, the strikes against their accounts or wherever. They'll notice that these people have personalities that gamers flock to, and they'll have jobs. These
Yeah.
people that are super popular, that people seemingly are worried about, like Total Biscuit or anybody like that, they're gonna have jobs. They're gonna have a place on the internet. I think the main thing people are upset about is the little guy, the people like like you and me, that don't have hundreds of thousands of subscribers or whatever, and we have our niche or whatever, and we just like to do it, but people are afraid that because they're not going to have the chance to become big like PewDiePie or somebody like that going forward, that those people are just going to give up. And I think
Hmm.
if those people give up, they were in it for the wrong reason to begin with.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's why I did my video where I'm like, I don't care. You can claim the shit out of it if you want. I still want to make videos. But and it's like that's the other thing too. I just think with the way things are running right now too, like with this whole, affiliate or managed, partnership, is that now you're kind of giving their channels are kind of getting favoritism. So anybody that's managed will be able to continue uploading gameplay video constantly without getting any dings, without going through the long, crazy process. And I feel like there's going to be kind of favoritism now, and that's going to dissuade some people, I think. On the other hand, you might have people that are like, I don't care about money, I'm going to keep doing this, and they might even just get a big following, to where they're like, because the thing is my thought is, even if YouTube was to take monetizing and money away tomorrow completely,
Right.
completely, no matter what, you're always going to have those people that are going to do it for fun. And there are people that just enjoy the fame or the exposure or the fan base, and they don't need money. They just they get off on just having the fans, and that's good enough for them. So you're always going to have people to step up to the plate when others decide they're not going to do it anymore or don't want to do it anymore. So money or not, YouTube's going to get used. People are going to make content. Life will go on.
Yeah, and it will. And that's the thing is, I mean, even if YouTube does, completely pretty much do away with this kind of stuff, there will be something else that kind of rises from the ashes, I think. Like G4 went under since we last talked. You know what I mean? Like G4 is not around anymore for all intents and purposes. Yeah. It's still on the air as like a black hole of entertainment, basically. But
yeah,
like Adam Sessler's gone. Attack of the Show is no more. It has no original programming anymore, and there's literally no original gaming content on television. But Adam Sessler moved over to Revision 3, and he's still doing the exact same thing, if not even more in depth than he was at XPlay. And it's like these people that people are worried about losing or whatever, they'll find a place to land. And that's the main thing. Things like Giant Bomb are alive and well, and Quick Looks are a huge thing. Quick Looks aren't going anywhere. That's the kind of stuff like people are worried about.
From what
losing.
I understand Angry Joe doesn't have this partnership management thing, this bracket, and he's getting really hit hard on his videos. But I have no shadow of a doubt, if he can't do his content on YouTube, somebody's going to pick him up. Somebody
will. And I mean, Angry Joe was able to get an exclusive interview with Jeff Keighley before one of the video game awards, I mean, like, I mean, these aren't like small time people that are ignored by the mainstream guys. These are people
like
that
us.
are noticed. These are people that are noticed by people, at game trailers and other places like that. Like, I know, there's game trailers hired Wario64 from Gaff, like, I mean, they hire people that are worth their salt. And if you really, truly do want to do it for a living, I've always been of the mindset, like from day one, since I started on YouTube, since I started doing anything independently, was that you have to work for somebody that will get around those kinds of issues and kind of legitimize yourself. Because honestly, no offense to anybody that does professional grade work on YouTube, but you're not a professional if you're doing it on YouTube. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the mindset I've always had, is you can do professional grade work, but you're not a professional because you're not hired by someone that is in the business, basically. Like, my goal has always been to get a job a legitimate job, working for CNET, working for Twit, working for, you know what I'm saying? Like, ever since I saw like ZDTV back in the day, I wanted to work for GameSpot TV, you know, and that was my goal. Was to get hired by an actual network of like actual journalists and things like that, and that would be to me like legitimizing my craft is if I got picked up on one of those places. If one of these guys gets picked up by those places, like I don't doubt Total Biscuit or somebody will get picked up, then that kind of legitimizes like the whole YouTube thing. You know what I mean? And at that point,
Yeah.
it kind of opens the door for more. Like
Yeah.
if you just put your heart into it and you do it and you do a quality job of it without making any money, eventually somebody will pick you up and you will be making money doing it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like in Total Biscuit's not affected at all. He's covered. But like I was saying is like, so, for example, you got these people that are managed and they're covered and they're good to go and they don't have to worry about these dings. And then you're going to get the quitters. And then you're going to get the people that are going to try to do it just for the fandom. But guess what? If they get enough fandom, they'll probably get a network that says, hey, you can come be on our managed thing. So
Exactly.
again, it's more like you're saying, if you keep up at it and you get the viewership, you're going to go places, because that's what drives sales. That's what drives PR. That's what drives, review copies of stuff. That's just what drives everything. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's the whole point. I mean, there's a reason why people on Twitter like Boogie and Adam Sessler and Total Biscuit. There's a reason why those guys mostly only talk to their same kind. And when I say that, I mean the higher ups. If PewDiePie was to send a message to Total Biscuit, you're damn well straight he's going to probably say something back to him. But if I was to say something to PewDiePie, it'd be luck of the draw if I got a response. And that's just how it is. It's like the other day, Rev stated, hey, if you're a YouTuber and you've been affected by this issue, let us know. And I said, I was affected. I'm sure tons of other people did. But who did they pick out from that signal to bring on address the cess? They picked out Total Biscuit, and they picked out other high YouTuber, significant other YouTubers, and again, it's like the rich hang out with the rich, the poor hang out with the poor,
Right.
so to speak.
Yeah,
And that's just how it is.
That's why we're doing a podcast together. And
Yeah.
Adam Sessler does podcasts with Cliffy B.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we do a
exactly.
podcast with Justin and Don, not Don and Alan.
No, right.
But,
Whatever with
I
Don
mean,
and
that's the
Alan.
point. I mean, actually, if I had to say, I'd say the most, when it comes to at least the gaming community, the most open YouTuber I've seen of actually responding to people would probably be Boogie. He seems to be really good at trying to get back to fans. I even emailed him not too long ago about something, and he responded. And I was like, it took like a week or two, but I was just like, oh, that's cool. He actually responds, So those people are few and far between who actually take the time to try to get involved with all their fans, regardless. But being big on YouTube is interesting, and seeing the clicks on Twitter and who talks to who and who ignores who,
Yeah.
etc. It's really that's a whole topic for another whatever. But it's an interesting dynamic that I've seen since I've been on Twitter, since I've been back in the States. So
Right. Yeah, like another thing that's kind of come to the forefront since we last spoke, like Twitter is really blown up. It's become
yeah,
like whenever we were like podcasting last, it existed, and I'd been tweeting for a couple of years, but it hadn't like been, I don't know,
take off.
Yeah, it hadn't caught on like super like mainstream like it has now. Like you see it everywhere now. I mean, it's crazy. Like I see it
Well, yeah,
on morning shows. I see it like on
news.
Yeah, news, everything. Like everybody's on Twitter that's that cares to be in the know of anything, and Facebook was big as well. And that I don't know that it's really changed much. I think my involvement in Facebook has kind of grown because like before. Facebook is much more of like a personal kind of networking tool, and you have to know people.
Yeah.
And Twitter is much more of like you don't have to know anybody in order to succeed kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like YouTube, Twitter is. It's like if somebody likes what you're saying, they'll follow you. And then if somebody likes
Yeah.
the person that is following you, they might look at who they're following and go, oh, well, I'll follow this person because they like them, that kind of thing. Facebook's much more personal, so you definitely most of the time know people that you're actually friends with on Facebook. Going back to
Yeah.
school has actually like afforded me a lot of personal friends that I've known on Facebook and things, and that's led to a lot of networking for me. throughout doing not only like gaming stuff but doing production stuff in general, and that'll probably aid me in the future. But it's been interesting getting more into social media, more into like the mainstream kind of college age kid, I guess, like because I'm 31. People that are listening, they don't probably know that, but so I'm a little older than the typical college age kid and things like that post online nowadays. So kind of understanding where they're coming from was kind of something new for me in the past 3 years since we last spoke. And yeah, and I fully plan on leveraging the power of Twitter and stuff like that to help, maybe get our podcast some recognition and stuff like that eventually. But I don't know, like that kind of stuff has really taken its own form too, because like we've had these like online petitions, online campaigns, not even getting into the whole no DRM thing that went on with the Xbox One, that kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff. I mean, social media has like had such a ridiculous impact on the gaming industry in particular, but
Oh yeah.
just the way things have worked in the past 3 or 4 years, it's really crazy the way that things have changed since we last spoke. When it
Mm-hmm.
comes from
Yeah,
that
lots
standpoint,
changed.
it really has, and it doesn't
War.
seem
War never changes.
it doesn't seem like it's that big a deal or that different. Like when we kind of like step back and look at, like, you and I were talking on Skype. We did that before. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But at the same time, like so much has happened in our own lives, and so much has gone on technologically since last we spoke. For example, there's a new console generation that just launched, which is kind of crazy to think about, because the last console generation was basically the equivalent in length of two console generations, but still.
Yes.
Yeah, now we have new machines out. You have the two new machines, don't you? You have the
Yes, I do.
PS4 and the Xbox One. I have a PC. I'm content with my PC and PS3, and I have a Wii U. Okay, I jumped into the Wii U fray, and we can get into whether or not we use next gen if you want to use that discussion at some point. But um, those are my things to run with right now. But what are your impressions of the new consoles so far, anyway?
I mean, honestly, here's the breakdown as much as I can try to give it in a quick overview. I like the PS4 interface. It's very simple. It's very easy to use, and it just feels good. The controller, I think, feels really good, but I don't like the control sticks. Not that I don't like how they move, but my fingers tend to slip off because there's kind of a round edge, round bubble to them in the middle where you hold the stick, and
Mhm.
I just find it slipping from time to time. Other than that, I feel like the just overall the PS4 is pretty rock solid from everything I played on it. And just like I said, the user interface, the controller. If I had to pick anything else, I don't know. Oh, the headset that comes with it's a piece of crap. It feels like something that came out of a dollar store. It's really really bad. It is. It's really bad. And also lack of games. I feel like
Yeah.
the exclusives on the system are very lacking, more so than on the Xbox. So with that said, I'll switch to the Xbox. The Xbox, I feel I have a little bit more issues with, but there's kind of like a balance there. The user interface is neat with the connectabilities, but it's kind of convoluted and it's extremely confusing going from the 360 to the one. It's kind of has one of those feelings like
Huh.
if it's not broke, why fix it? And you fucked it up. Um, so, I mean, it really is a little convoluted. It feels like they're like, well, we love Windows 8, and you're gonna love it too. Well, no,
Yeah.
I still don't fucking love Windows 8,
No.
and I don't
I
really
don't
like it.
either.
But I hear they're. Go ahead.
I said I don't either. I don't love Windows 8
Yeah.
either.
But I hear they're working. They're going to be changing that, and that's the one thing I will say that I really appreciated about the 360 is they were constantly doing updates to their interface. So I have no doubt that that will change. Whereas PlayStation pretty much stayed the same throughout most of its. The PS3 mostly stayed the same throughout its lifespan. So I'm not really worried too much about that. But there's some simple features that have been removed from the one, which again, hopefully they'll. From what I hear, they're going to update. But it's just things that make you go, why? Like. I can't see how much more battery power I have on my controller. Why? I can't manage my hard drive like all in one area and see what I've got on there. Why? The bumpers on the controller feel weird on the new controller. Why? There's just some
They
weird
do.
things like
They do.
for example, the like if you want to like actually delete anything on your system on the Xbox, there's no like overall how much room do I have left. You basically go to where your apps are and you delete them from there. There's no really overall. Well, this is how much space you have left. so that's just annoying. The battery thing on the controller is annoying because I never know when the fuck my controller is gonna just die. I mean, luckily I have a recharger set, so I just put it back in the cradle. I
Yeah.
don't have to worry about that. But I never know. Like it's just weird. It's a weird omission.
Huh.
And then like I said, the bumpers. Now the thing is if you try to hit the bumpers on the controller with the pointer fingers, like the tips of your pointer fingers, it feels awkward as fuck. Like I feel like after having used it now for a while, that's not how they intended for you to use it. They want you to rest your pointer fingers on the bumpers, and basically you're hitting it with the middle of your finger. So it's like you're kind of just tapping it, and it's pushing in with the middle of your finger, and that feels fine. But that's not what most people are gonna instinctively try to do. They're gonna try to use their pointer, the actual tip of their pointer finger. Other than that, the controller though, I really like the controller, and I like the sticks on it versus the PlayStation because they kind of have a little bit of a dip in them and a rough around edge. So I enjoy that. The Kinect integration is interesting. It seems to work better than the old one, I think. And the Kinect has cool recognition. You sit in front of it, and it's like, "Hi, Justin, how are you?" Like it notices who I am. It appreciates me. Um, but the big thing for me is the games, the exclusives: Dead Rising 3, Rise, and Forza or Forza, as they say. I feel like the exclusives on the system are just better. It's better than it's just better than what's the word? I don't know. It just feels like it's more rounded out, and I don't know. I just think they're better. I mean, that's probably a user choice anyway, preference, but I just feel like there's a stronger first party presence of games so
No,
far.
third
But of
party.
course, this is too early to tell. I mean, honestly, to be clearly plain and simple, I think both systems have awesome potential. Um, I know that there's a whole I can tell the difference between a 1080p and 720, and I think if
Well,
I was to switch between one game being 720p and then switching that game to 1080, I'd be able to tell. But when I'm playing like Dead Rising 3, I just can't tell that much of. I'd have to sit there and look at pictures or video back to back, and so while I know there's going to be some techies that are really hardcore about that whole thing, that doesn't really bother me. And again, just like this is the start of the consoles. Just like PlayStation 3 and Xbox, it's going to start and it's going to get better. If this is the graphics and capabilities we're seeing now at the launch,
yeah,
I can only
yeah,
imagine
good
3 years from now.
point. No,
Because
I can honestly say, I play PC a lot. I mean, I play
yeah, so
PC games like pretty much nonstop.
that's
And
your
I
that's
play,
your that's your main focus.
yeah, I built a PC, so I'm gonna get my mileage out of it. Like I paid, I don't know how much, like a year and a half ago for a whole new rig, and like I'm capable of playing Assassin's Creed 4 at 50 to 60 frames per second at PlayStation
Yeah.
4 or higher settings right now. Okay, so like
Yep.
the thing is, like, for me, I'll notice a resolution difference, okay, because I sit there and I can actively toggle between resolutions on the fly
Yeah.
in any game that I play, and I do it. Like I'll do it for performance reasons, or I'll do it for screenshotting and things like that. But yeah, the average person isn't going to notice the difference between 1080 and 720p enough to care. Okay. The other
Yeah.
thing is.
Especially when you can't switch back and forth right away. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Yeah, and you have to like go into a menu to do so and things like that. The main thing I think is the performance. I don't know how the performance issues are on on the one compared to the PS4. Like, I think there were some frame rate issues in Call of Duty or something on PS4, and they found it was actually running too fast or something like that. So they need to
Yeah.
like cap the frame rate is what they need to do,
Well, yeah.
and turn
Well,
on
here
VSync or something. But
the interesting thing
go ahead.
about that, like the frame rate issues,
Yeah.
is that yes, I mean like playing Dead Rising 3, I noticed a few times playing throughout it, I could tell the frame rate slowed down. But to be completely honest, like from that game and Rise and playing on PlayStation 4 Knack, because Knack has some dips. I mean, I don't think there's been a single game I've played yet on either console that hasn't had a dip or two or a couple
No,
dips here and there
no,
throughout the game.
I can guarantee you
You know?
that hasn't been the case because it's a console,
Exactly.
and console games are
Exactly.
always going to have dips. And I'll tell you this too. I've been playing Assassin's Creed 4 on PC, and I play it with what's called sparse grid super sampling anti-aliasing. Basically, that is really nice anti-aliasing that gets rid of all the jaggies on the screen. But
Hmm.
whenever something like alpha effects such as smoke gets in the way, it slows my
Hmm.
frame rate down, and it dips below 30. and I don't give a shit because it looks really nice while I'm playing it. So the
It's not
thing
the
is,
end of the world.
no, it's really not. And you know, like I said, I have a machine that's capable, if I turn the settings down a little bit, of running it upwards of 60 frames a second. But I still lock it to 30 frames a second. I have VSync on, and I have this anti-aliasing on to smooth the image out, and it looks really fucking nice. And 30 frames a second is perfectly playable. I'm sorry, people that are
Yes.
PC enthusiasts, it's perfectly fine. But
I agree.
now I prefer 60 frames a second. Now,
Yes.
but I can't afford a GTX 780
Yeah.
or a
Or a
Titan.
Titan.
Yeah, I can't afford that. So I just settle with what I have, and I'm happy with it. But what I was
And
gonna
and,
say
and
also is like you know, I've been playing the Wii U in the past few weeks. Okay, like I rented Pikmin 3 and Wind Waker HD. Number one, Wind Waker HD is 1080p native. Okay, and has there's some frame rate issues in it, but it's one of the best looking games I've ever seen, honestly. And it's a GameCube game that is like just upscaled to 1080p. Okay.
with some bloom effects.
Yeah, like the difference between resolutions shows itself there, honestly. But I've also been playing Super Mario 3D World, and that is,
Uh-huh.
regardless. I mean, it looks really nice. Don't get me wrong,
Yes.
but it runs at 720p. There are occasions where there's some frame rate dips, like in some water levels and things like that. But for the most part, it stays pretty steady. I think Digital Foundry actually did like a piece on it recently. They found it was one of the most stable 60 frame per second games they've tested. But
Yes.
since 720p frame rate issues, whatever, it's still one of the best platformers I've played in my life. Like no lie,
Yep.
it's one of the most fun games I've played since probably Mario 64, as far as
Yes.
platformers goes. And that the resolution doesn't matter, the amount of RAM the Wii U has doesn't matter. I don't care about any of that stuff when I'm playing it. You know what I mean? And I don't
Yeah.
care. I know people go, "Oh, it doesn't use the Wii U gamepad that well." I don't care. I don't give a shit. It doesn't use the fucking features. Like it's like an Xbox game that doesn't use Kinect as much as it possibly
Yeah.
could. Nobody cares whenever they're playing it. You know, it doesn't matter. The technical parts of it don't matter when the gameplay is that good, and that's the thing that I think people get caught up in numbers and they get caught up in technical jargon and arguments and things, and there's no point because it's just kind of, is the game
Well,
fun or not? You know?
you know why they do it. I mean, the reason it's such a big deal, at least, or it was, is the launch of the systems were coming up, is because, like you said, we've been in a launch, we've been in an era where we've basically gone through what feels like two generations of gaming consoles when we've been stuck with the same ones for the last
Right.
8 years. So people are just pushing for the technological aspects and what it can push and what it can do. And I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, regardless of Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag running at 900p or whatever on Xbox One versus 1080p, most people won't care. They're still going to get that same game experience of pirates, swashbuckling, and there isn't going to be too much issues with performance. It's going to be, if you like the game, you like the game. If you don't like the game, you don't like the game. And yeah, like you said, people just get too hung up on numbers, and it's kind of like it's gonna die down. I mean, it definitely it's gonna be one of those things that's people are just gonna start playing the games and the systems they like for what games come out, which is what you should do to begin with. If there's games you like enough on a system, pick it up. If you don't think there isn't, then you wouldn't. And what's it matter?
Oh, yeah, that's why I'm waiting to get a PS4. There's nothing on it I want to play right now.
I mean, even like PC. I have a master, cute, nice PC. I don't play a lot of games on it, and it's just because I don't know. I don't find a lot of the games that I play tend to be a lot of the ones I have like on my PlayStation 3 now and stuff are exclusive. And now, granted, there's a ton of games that come out on PC more so than ever before. Like third-party games, and those are great too on PC. But at the same time, sometimes I'll go and buy a console version just because I'm like, well, I'm gonna sit on my couch instead of at my computer desk. So it's like I have a great killer rig, and I'll play the games I'll most likely play most of the exclusive games on my PC. Because what I tend to do, I think this is probably what most people do, is you kind of associate yourself with one platform, whether it's PC, Xbox, PlayStation, whatever. And it could be for whatever reason. It could be because you like the interface or you have more friends on your friends list there, whatever the reason being. And basically you will buy third-party games on that system or console or PC or whatever. And then everything else you'll kind of tailor to buying exclusives or occasionally maybe a third-party game because you're like, oh, I want some more games for that that library of games. And that's just kind of how it boils down to. Like right now, I can't tell you what system I'm going to play more, Xbox or PlayStation 4. I really don't know. It started off strong with PS4. Now I haven't played PS4 in a while. I've been playing on Xbox. But once I get through all these launch titles, it's just going to be a wait and see kind of game.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to wait and see what comes out and once Infamous Second Son comes out, I'll be all over that and I'll be back on PS4.
Yeah.
So,
Like I honestly, I think it's more of like there's never been a stronger argument just to own everything. Like now, because
well, and I understand everybody can't afford that, and
well,
I
whatever.
understand that. But again,
Sure
it
you
boils
can.
down
You
to
just
picking
gotta
what you.
you gotta buy a system. Like you don't buy them all at once. Just buy one.
Yeah.
Like buy one this Christmas, and then whenever another one gets like the Wii U is not it doesn't have enough games in a lot of people's opinions to buy for $300 right now. So wait till it drops to 200 in 2 years and then buy it. Or do
Yeah.
like I did and get it for $200 with 7 games off Craigslist. Like I mean there's people out there doing this kind of stuff. You can find deals on things if you just look for them.
Yes.
You don't have to buy everything all at once.
No,
And that's the thing like
and it doesn't matter if you don't want to buy it. There doesn't have to be this hatred or fighting about it.
right, exactly. And it's silly to take that much personal interest in something anyway because it's meant to like take your mind off of things that you're being divisive about. And I don't get why people get that into something like entertainment, but
Yeah,
for
that's a whole nother
different show.
topic.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I don't know what else can we talk about. I can't really think of much. There's the Hobbit coming out tomorrow, right?
That's true. That's true. The Hobbit. Yes,
Yeah, we're recording this on Thursday night, for those of you wondering. So The Hobbit hasn't
Yeah.
come out yet. I think Rotten Tomatoes has it at like 80% or something like that. I'm not even sure.
Yeah, I think it's been getting some good
Yeah,
reviews.
74% is what I'm seeing now. Yeah, I'm probably gonna check it out tomorrow. I haven't been to the movies. Check this. I haven't been to the movies in over a year. Can you believe that?
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I think the last movie I saw was Sinister, like last year
Oh,
around
wow.
Halloween. That movie
Yeah.
was pretty mediocre. Now I've seen some movies like
liked it.
on Blu-ray and stuff like that, but I haven't
Yeah.
like been to the actual theater. And I missed the Hobbit last year. Like I missed the high bitrate version.
Yeah.
Or the high
They
frame
made
rate
people
version.
sick.
I guess. But like I'm interested in just to see this and like judge it for myself basically because it hasn't caught on and it hasn't been done since the first Hobbits, I don't think. So I just want to see what it looks like. I don't know. I think I saw an interview with Peter Jackson and he promised this one doesn't look as video like or something. We'll see. But yeah, I'm interested in seeing that one, especially because they divided like such a short book into 3 fucking movies.
Yeah. Yeah. Talk about overkill.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's marketing for you. That's a whole other topic we can talk about.
Yeah,
another time. Like,
that is.
they do
I, mean,
that
I think we've
everything
kind of
now.
drilled into the people, the listeners tonight with this first episode. We kind of went at it.
Yeah, well, we agreed with each other on pretty much everything, which is not how it's supposed to be done.
No, it's not.
If you look at our Twitter accounts, that's not how things go usually.
Yeah, we
But,
fight all the time.
Yeah, well,
I
just,
hate this son of a
not
bitch.
really. See, he is like super optimistic about everything, and I
Yes.
like to be super cynical about everything. And the
Mhm.
cynicism and optimism kind of collide, and that's where we like. Actually, I'm not that cynical at all. I just like being an asshole on Twitter. But
You
know,
like pushing buttons.
Yeah.
There's a button to push.
pretty much. But it doesn't work on you anymore because you caught on to my game. Oh well.
It works. It works okay on Twitter sometimes. You still get me occasionally, but it's a whole different ballgame when we're actually sitting here talking.
It's hard to tell sarcasm on the internet. Let's just
Yes.
get that out there. It's pretty hard to
Yes.
understand that I'm not exactly typing this with the tone of voice you may be reading it with. So
Exactly.
yeah, it's fun though to kind of push buttons.
Flavor Flav.
It's fun because I'm pushing buttons, typing something, and then it's pushing buttons figuratively, and that's the best part about it. Yeah. So anyway, we got this inaugural episode out of the way.
Yeah, I think we did a good job, and I think
We,
I think after the 2 hours of troubleshooting,
Yeah, 2 hours.
get it
Thanks for hanging
set
in
up,
there.
yeah.
That was so nice of you.
I know it's
I have
okay.
to
I do
say.
it because we have history.
We do?
Well,
I've honestly
I mean,
never
yeah.
spoken to this person in my life,
I know.
which is crazy.
What show am I on?
I have no idea. But
Yeah,
I think you know what that means, Justin, don't you?
I think I do. I think it's what's the song? Oh, there it is.
I think
Classic.
that's it. Is that it? That is it, isn't it?
That is
Wow,
it.
that works. It just came.
You know, I
It
won't.
just came right up out of nowhere. I don't understand.
I
It
won't
just-
lie. I forgot what song it was until you started playing it.
It did it like by itself too. It just kind of came out of nowhere. So what did we learn tonight, Justin?
I learned that YouTube's a clusterfuck right now.
Oh, it sure is. I learned that I play an asshole on Twitter. Okay, I'm still an asshole in real life.
Yeah, but you're still kind of nice on the podcast.
I can be
You
a
gotta
nice
change
guy.
that.
Yeah, I probably will change that. Okay, so
We'll
one of
change.
the things I think we should do, I think because it worked out so well last time, we should have like some kind of like movie assignment or something, like for Netflix or something that we can watch and then talk about the next
Okay.
week. Does that sound like an
Okay,
idea?
well, yeah, do you have one picked out though?
No.
Yeah, so
could probably,
we should do our.
I could probably just like go through Netflix and find something. Have you seen The Woman?
No,
You should watch The Woman. We could talk about The
We could-
Woman.
we could always talk about The Room.
The Room is something we can talk about too. The Tommy
'Cause I've
Wiseau
seen that
movie.
already.
Yeah, there's a guy that at this club that I go to. My brother just turned 21, by the way, and we took him to a club with us for the first time. And he looked at a guy and he goes, "That guy looks like Tommy Wiseau," and we were like, "Oh my God, he does. He really does."
And you should have been like, "You're tearing me apart, Lisa."
Yeah, I think that's the fucking quote that he used too. So, anyway, yeah, we'll pick something out, and then what I'd like to do is have like listeners watch the movie as well, and then that way they can be familiar
Yeah.
with what we watched, and then they can like hear our kind of dissertation breakdown of it. So like,
Yeah, so go watch The Room.
yeah, there you go. So let's do that then. Let's next episode we'll talk about Tommy Wiseau's The Room. Oh, look at that.
Oh, look at that. We're starting another episode already.
Those playlists will get you every time. So anyway,
It's like Groundhog's Day.
yeah, so The Room is what we'll talk about next episode.
Yeah.
That'll be
And
that
thank
should
you
be a
guys.
fun one. Yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for putting up with my antics tonight, Justin.
And if you
And,
somehow happen to be a listener of our original podcasting days, congratulations. You don't win anything, but thank you.
Yeah, that's nice of you that you remembered us and know who we are. So
Yes.
anyway, follow me on Twitter. It's Don Allen, not the Don Allen anymore. That's a different guy. You can
It's.
follow him too if you want, but it's Don Allen. And what are you, Slasher JPC?
At Slasher JPC, so just like on YouTube. So
And you are now
bring
next. You are now next gen gaming, even though it's
Yeah.
now current gen gaming.
but you know what? I can constantly be moving forward, so that's
Okay.
all it's about.
So now you're just focused on the next generation of gaming.
Not really. It's just
5
a
years
name.
from
Who
now.
gives it? Who cares?
Okay. All right then. So until next time, everyone. Thank you for listening.
Good-
And
Good night.
good night and Godspeed.
Bleep, 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 bleep. That's all, folks.